Hi guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel, hello, my name is Joy Effie. Today we are making a beret. Yes, we are making an Ankara beret. You heard me right. It is easy, it is very beautiful to make, and it is like a 5-minute DIY. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to click on your subscription button and put on your notification bell, because we are going to be giving you quality over quantity. It's a back-to-back hit, don't forget that. So this is a very easy DIY, and let's get right into it. For this project, you'll be needing your fabric, you'll be needing a chalk, you'll be needing a scissors, you'll be needing your tape of course, and then you'll be needing a stiffener. This stiffener, I use the chest wording. Chest wording is very durable, but you can use a gum stay if you want. You can use a paper to stiffen, just something to make it stiff and have firmness, but I use a chest wording. So if it's accessible in your area, you can just get a chest wording. You know how we do this thing now. It's a 4x2 folding. So you're going to fold your fabric into two and then fold that two part into two again, which means you're going to be folding your fabric into 4. Sometimes when you see me fold and adjust, what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to like manage my material. I don't like wasting material, so I try to like fold close to the number I want to measure, then I mark out or I fold so that the waste that is coming out won't be much. That's why you see me adjusting and adjusting over and over again. So after folding your fabric into 4, you are going to measure 6 inch. Don't forget that. For a standard beret, you use the measurement of 6 inch, and 6 inch you'll be needing 4 parts. 4 parts, don't forget. If you can just cut it once, you can just cut out 6 inch, fold again, use your previous pattern to cut out another one into 4 places, or you cut out 2 and cut the other part too. But in total you'll be needing 4 pieces of this 6 inches cone shape. Okay, after cutting out the 4 pieces, you are going to separate it to 2. One of these 2, you are going to leave the fold and measure at 3 inch and cut out 3 inch for it. Yes, that's what you do. Mark out 3 inch and cut it out in 2 of these pieces. Right now we are working on 4 pieces in total, or 4 patterns in total. Place the one with the loop and the plain one on each other, and you are going to be sewing it round. But you sew the edge round, which is the round part, you sew it round. But before then, I want to stiffen this this beret. I want it firm, like I don't want like a saggy beret. So what you would do, you are going to place one part of it. We are going to be stiffening one part that serves our main beret, then the other part which we are using for the lining. The idea of cutting 4 patterns is that 4, that's 2 of each, is that you are going to be using 2 pieces of this pattern for your main beret, then the other 2 pieces for your lining. That's the idea. If you don't want to use Ankara for your lining, you have something else you want for your lining, let's say a satin, you're going to be cutting one of this pattern, which is the one with the loop and the one without the loop, on your main fabric, and do the same for your lining or whatever you are using for your lining. So place your material, the wrong part on the lining, and mark. You can pin them together, then cut it out. Do the same for the part with the loop. When I mean the loop, the one with the hole where we cut out 3 inch, it created a circle in the middle of our round pattern. So you place both together on the right side, meaning the right side facing up, the wrong side on the stiffener. Pin it and cut it out. After cutting it out, you are going to place these two different patterns together, which means the round pattern, which is our pattern A, and the pattern with the hole in the middle, with the circle in the middle, which is our pattern B. You place right sides together, go to your machine and sew it round. You sew the round edge together, don't leave any space open, sew it together. When you are done to get sewing it, you come back and we continue. Please always remember to pin down your work. Pinning your work makes work very easy for you. Pin your work down. I'm removing the pins I used in holding it down while trimming. I'm removing both sides and putting them together. That means I'm separating the pins. The pin I use for the upper part and the lower part, I'm removing them and pinning both sides together. Take it to your machine and sew it down. As you can see, I've sewn the round part of my beret. After sewing, I removed my pin, then I trimmed out my excess. The excess I'm actually trimming out is not the fabric, it's the chest wording I used. If you remember earlier, I didn't really mark my chest wording. I did like a rough round cutting after pinning down to my fabric. So I'm cutting off the excesses right now. After cutting, I'm going to turn this cap over. Turn the cap over. I did this same sewing for the part I'm using for the lining. So you are doing this sewing on two sides. You did it for the main beret, then you are doing the same thing for the lining. Then after you are done, you turn it over. You turn both patterns over because you are having two patterns, the main pattern and the lining. Then you put the wrong sides together, meaning you are joining them together now. Just place one inside one, that's all. There's no trick. It is very easy to do. You place the lining inside the beret, the main beret. You know now, you see the way I did it. Just do it the way it is. Place them on each other. Then you see this rough edge, which is the circle part where we cut out that circle hole. We are going to cut a strap and piping it. You know what piping is? Piping is you covering a rough edge with a strap of fabric or a strap of rope. So this edge, this round edge, we are going to cut out a piping and cover the edge. This edge covering, it actually has two types. You have two ways of doing your beret, but before we get to that, you are going to just mark any spot on the brim of your beret. Then you use a tape to measure round. You measure from one end of this mark you give to the other end. The reason you are marking is you want to get the measurement. That's the measurement of your hair circumference. That's the part that is sitting on your head. So you measure it round. Anything you get, you cut it out in a strap. As you can see, for this measurement, I got 33.5. So this my fabric. I was short of fabric, so I divided 33.5 by 2, which gave me 11.5, and I cut two pieces, then I joined it together. This is actually, you need a long strap, but because my fabric was small, I had to join fabrics together. You don't have to join. You are going to cut out 33.5 by 2, or cut out your head circumference, any measurement you get at the end of the day, by 2. You are actually supposed to get 33.5. If your measurement is correct, you are going to arrive at 33.5 or 33, but you are supposed to get 33.5. After getting 33.5, you mark out 33.5 by 2 inch. But if you are working with a short fabric like me, divide 33.5 by 2, cut it out and join it together to give you your total length. That's what I did. So I told you earlier that after sewing both sides, you are going to put them inside each other. For the part I'm using for lining, all I did was I just wore it inside the main cap. Insert it inside, the wrong side on each other. Then the edge, as you insert, make sure you pin the edge, which is the head circumference, which is that circle that you cut out initially. That open circle, you hold both fabrics with the stiffener, of course, and you pin down. After pinning them down, you take it to your sewing machine. The strap you cut, you attach it to the circle on one side. After sewing, adding it on one side round, then you fold neatly and sew it down. Just watch what I did. I'll look for the simplest term to use for this process, but if you follow this video step by step, you are definitely going to understand it. Okay, the 23.5 by 2 inch that you cut, you are going to close the other part, meaning you are going to close the edge. Just watch what I mean. Close the edge, making it a loop as well. So what I did, it was a long strap, but I covered that other end, so to make it a loop, to make it a circle. After making it a circle, you're just going to pin it on the cap as well. You pin it on the cap as well, then you sew it down. So that's what you do. Just attach it to the cap, which is the front and the lining. Then now with the band, you attach them together and pin down. After pinning, just sew it down round. Sew it on your sewing machine. Just do what I did and you are going to get it right. Sew it round on your sewing machine. So what are you sewing round? You are sewing the main beret, the lining, and the piping, which is the strap. You are sewing these 3 things together, and of course your stiffener, which is between your cap and your lining, don't forget. So now you pinned these 4 things together and you are sewing them down. Sew it round. After sewing round, you turn it over, place it neatly, pin down of course, and then sew, and voila, your beret is ready. Yes, this is what I mean. This is the inside of your beret, and this is the strap. Now you've sewn one part. You are going to fold it like so and then pin down to cover the edge. So when folding, make sure you cover the previous sewing or the previous thread so it doesn't show. That's how you get a neat piping. This process is called piping. Whenever you hear somebody say I piped it or I piping it, this is what the person mean. You piping by covering one part first, then covering the other part. So I might not show this process again. When I say let's piping it, you know what I mean. just pin down, do this gently. This is like your final touch. Your final touch you should always pay attention to your final touch. That's how you get a very neat finishing. So if you notice, I'm folding and you are seeing the beauty already. It's coming out fine. You just fold gently and pin. When you are done folding, you are even going to see the beauty of your beret before you finally sew it down with a machine. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can actually make this beret with a needle or a gum. You can do it, yes. So after you are sure of pinning down and everything is fine and equal, then you just match it with your sewing machine. That's all. If you notice, all my sewing, I did it from the right side. You don't have any, after you placed your lining inside your main beret, you didn't have business with the inside again. You've settled the inside. So every sewing and every other thing you are doing, you were doing it from the outside of the cap. So right now I'm closing off my piping, and after closing we are done. Are you seeing this beauty? Just wait till I rock this beret. Are you seeing what I'm showing you? Thank you guys for watching. I love you.